Say, how you doing today? How you doing today? Y'all already know I'm your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner, and today I got a very, very special guest with me. She is an award-winning author. She is a educator. She is a certified life coach, Navy veteran. She is the lover of people, a servant leader, and accomplished speaker. She teaches people and organizations how to leverage the power of authenticity. She speaks on transformational leadership, women empowerment. She do a whole lot of things. Look, I can keep on going on and on, but then we'll run out of the show up in this book. But without further ado, I want to welcome to the platform the wonderful, amazing, talented Kelli Ware. Welcome to the platform.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. You know, you've been doing some great things. So I want to let the people let them get to know you a little bit before we talk about your book. So can you let the people know where were you born and raised, and how was your upbringing as a child?
Wow. Okay, so we're gonna go right into it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
I am from the DMV, from the Washington, D.C. area. That is home to me. I am all things D.C. Go Commanders. We're headed into football season.
Baltimore Ravens. Let's get
Close enough. And my upbringing as a child was a bit troubled, but also loving. So I lived duality in my childhood, and we'll talk more about that when we get into our conversation about the book. Okay. But there is one person, well, actually two people in my life that mean the world to me that were a major part of my upbringing. And that is, let's see, on this side, you'll see him. That's my dad. And then right next to him is his mother, my grandmother. And they were the foundation of my upbringing. So listen, even though my upbringing was troubled in a lot of respects, I wouldn't change anything for the world.
See, that's a great thing. So yeah, they always say, we learn from our, growing up and everything. So I feel you on that one, trading anything I've been through because it made me who I am. So I feel you. So let me ask you this. What made you join the Navy?
Because of my troubled childhood, by the time I was 16 years old, I was out of my parents' house and living on my own. Okay. And I was a bit of a wild child, okay? And my father, God bless him, he is an Army veteran. And about maybe 6 months prior to me joining the military, he said, "You need to do something with your life. Why don't you join the military?" And of course, I'm not joining the military. You slept outside. That makes no sense to me. I'm not doing that, all the things. And then, things just started to kind of go downhill. I was working at a job and ended up getting fired from the job. So I was kind of stuck with this conundrum of, okay, what are you going to do with your life, right? The college savings that my father had saved up, my mother, God bless her, had smoked it up, okay? And so every bit of my life plan and the trajectory of my life was completely thrown off course, and I did not know what to do. So I needed a job that I couldn't quit because I needed discipline, and that couldn't fire me very easily. So the military is what it was. And I originally wanted to go into the Air Force. In fact, when I called the recruiting office, I called the Air Force number. A Navy petty officer picked up the phone, and the rest is history.
Like, now you need to come on over here. Come on over here with us. So let me ask you this. What made you want to, be a life coach?
So I have been coaching all my life. It is something that is very natural to me. And one of the things that people think a life coach is it's somebody who tells you what to do. And that's not really it, even though I'm really good at that. But a life coach asks critical questions to get you to think about what you've been thinking about, to help you to prepare a plan for what it is that you want to do. And so I've always been highly inquisitive. My father will tell you that my first words was a question. So I have Yeah, I have a way of reading people and seeing what they're not saying, and then asking them questions to help them come to the awareness of what's going on with them, and help them to kind of process their thoughts and move forward with a plan. So something that I've always done. When I was in the fourth grade, the class was not listening well, and I would always be the person that the teacher would come to help get the class together, right? Because listen to me. And so I would ask them questions like, do you guys want to make it to the fifth grade? Well, if you do, then you need to listen, right? So it's something that I've done my entire life. So it was a very natural progression into adulthood.
That's good. That's good as a kid. Now I want to get into your book. What I found that was very interesting, because I haven't seen anybody talk about something like this, because even as a child, like a parent didn't do this. I had like an abusive auntie, and when I was a kid, she used to just be like, she'd be drinking and stuff, and then she'd be like, yeah, your daddy ain't your real daddy. And she just used to all say this stuff just to make me cry and then apologize. I used to like, why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? So this book, what you wrote is, fascinating to me. So unconditional grief, grieving the loss of a less than perfect parent. Can you tell the people about this book, why you wrote it and everything?
Okay, awesome. So the title is Unconventional Grief.
Yes, my
And
favorite.
the thing about grief is, and a lot of people mistake grief for just death, right? When somebody transitions, but you experience grief when you lose anything that was of value or importance to you. So whether you lost a relationship, you lost a job, right? Or you lost a loved one, that feeling that you feel immediately after the loss or days after the loss, up until you get to the point of accepting it, is grief, right? So for me, because my mother was a drug addict, the bulk of my life, and because she was physically and emotionally and verbally abusive to me, when my mother passed away, I thought I was fine because I was not going to miss her. My mother and I were pretty much estranged. We didn't have any level of an emotional connection whatsoever. So when she passed away, everybody's at the hospital, everybody's crying. I didn't cry. You know, okay, I knew it was coming. She was on a ventilator. They pulled the plug, as it were, and she transitioned within 2 seconds. So I didn't even want to be in the room when she passed, right? Everybody else was surrounding her bed. I was not there. And so I thought that I was fine. I went on, I planned her entire funeral, made sure that everything was in place, did all the things, put the people in place, all of that, fine, right? But the day after her funeral, which was 3 weeks later, I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I felt like a train had hit me. Now, mind you, I wasn't sick. There was no, it was grief in a way that I cannot explain. And the reason why I called it unconventional grief is because I didn't feel this sadness because of loss. I felt the sadness because of what I felt like I was robbed of. And even though my mother and I didn't have a healthy relationship, the traditional mother-daughter relationship, secretly I prayed that at some point she would just get clean and we would be able to have some semblance of a healthy relationship. But when she died, that possibility died with her. And so it was that. And then I felt guilty for feeling the feelings that I felt. In some ways, I felt vindicated when she passed away. In some ways, I felt happy because it's no longer this worry in the back of my mind. Finally, it's over. And then I felt guilty for having these feelings. And I felt like I didn't have anywhere to go to talk about what it was that I was experiencing, because you can't talk about the Black mama now. Hello? You don't talk about mama. Right? So I was in this downward spiral of darkness that came out of nowhere. And it was difficult to explain as I was going through it. And I wondered how many other people had a less than perfect parent or an abusive loved one that they were forced to be around that when they pass away, right? Or an absent parent, a parent that you are angry at that because you never got an opportunity to know them because they weren't there, they didn't do the things, they weren't at the football games, they weren't at the choir recitals, they weren't there, right? What do you do with those feelings? I don't feel sad because I lost you, but there's still this grief that I'm experiencing. And so that's the reason why I wrote the book.
Okay. And look, all that stuff I was feeling that when my aunt passed, I was feeling them same. It's like you just touch it home, right? You know, I was like, you know, I feel everything you said. So look, let me say this though. Why do you feel unconventional grief is real and deserves space in the cultural conversation?
So, number one, it's real for me because I experienced it. And because it wasn't a conversation before my experience, or it wasn't a popular conversation before my experience, I had no clue what to do with what I was feeling, to the point that I wanted to take my own life because I couldn't come out. I couldn't lift the weight of the burden of unconventional grief. And because I'm traditionally positive, I'm a life coach, right? I've taken classes on psychology and understand how to process through emotions, but I couldn't use any of the tools that I had on myself to help me to come out. And so I think it's a necessary conversation because a lot of people experience it and they don't know that they're experiencing it.
Right.
There are people who suppress their emotions, right? You're angry at the parent, so when they die, okay, you play the part of the sad child in front of everybody else for the entire time. You know, you have this set of feelings that you're carrying internally that you don't know what to do with. And I think that a lot of people don't want to touch the subject because it's taboo. It's difficult to talk about. Everybody, when they lose a parent, it's the world has come to an end. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for your loss. People would say that to me, and in my mind, I would be thinking, don't be sorry for me. I didn't lose much, right? So because that's not a part of the conversation, it hasn't been normalized. And because it hasn't been normalized, when people do experience it, they don't want to be the person that is, you know, that stands out or that is countercultural. And so I want it to be a part of the culture so that people can actually be okay with experiencing the feelings that they're experiencing without fear of reproach or being, you know, marginalized because how dare you, right? And so that's part of the reason why I wrote the book. We have to have the conversation of unconventional grief because most households are single parent households. What do you do when the parent that's absent passes away? What do you do with the feelings that you're left with, right? The anger that you're left with. What do you do with that? And so these conversations are necessary to help people feel okay with what it is that they're feeling and to understand that it's okay to not be okay.
Facts. Hey, listen, y'all better get into Kelli over here dropping them jewels for y'all up in this bug. Listen. So let me ask you this, Miss Kelli. Can you talk about how grief, when acknowledged, can be alchemized into purpose and resilience?
So that's a wonderful, wonderful question. Most people don't ask that question when we're having the conversation about grief. Grief can really be empowering if you learn how to transform or transmute the emotions that you're feeling into diving deep and discovering, who am I on the other side of losing this person or losing this thing, right? Whenever you lose a relationship, coming out of the relationship, you are not the same person that you were when you went into the relationship. And one of the biggest stumbling blocks for people is that they try to get back to their old self. That person doesn't exist anymore. And so in the process of grieving the loss of the relationship, you're also grieving the loss of the version of yourself that existed in the relationship, that existed prior to the relationship. And so one of the keys and the tools to really transforming grief is to really lean into discovering who you are on the other side of this, right? I had to learn my mother is no longer here. 50% of my DNA is in the grave. What do I do now? I don't have that person that I can call to say, hey, mom, menopause is coming up. What did you experience? Right? I don't have that because traditionally what a woman experiences in menopause is inherited from her mother. So I don't have that, right? And, I didn't necessarily have it before, but at least it was an option.
Yeah, exactly.
So, figuring out the tools and the things that I need in place to replace what I could have gotten from my mother. So leaning into discovering your identity. The other thing is being honest with yourself. Giving yourself permission to be able to feel what it is that you're feeling without caring or regard for how anybody else feels about how you're feeling. How somebody else feels about my grief experience is none of my business, and I don't care. Right? I had to become radical about this is the reality of what I'm feeling. And even though I have siblings who had a different experience with my mother, that don't have nothing to do with me.
Right.
And if you don't understand it, God bless you. I'm sorry. Still love you, but my experience is my experience. So being honest with yourself about the experience so that you can process through those emotions and then discover, who am I? What do I like? What do I not like? What do I want to do? Who am I now? Right? The last thing I'll say is this. 5 months after my mother passed away, her mother passed away. So the lineage, right, above me was completely cut off in a matter of 5 months. Now it's me. Yeah. At 43 years old at the time, I'm now a matriarch. What? I didn't ask for that responsibility. I'm not supposed to be a matriarch until I'm like 50, 60,
Kelli, you look 35. Go ahead, keep it on.
Oh, thank you. And so, what does that mean for me? What does that look like for me? My mother's only sister passed away several years before. So, ta-da, right? So grappling
it's me.
It's on you, sis. So grappling with that experience and really coming to terms that you are without a mother and without a grandmother on your maternal side of the family, and it is now just you. So what do you do? What are you going to do with that? And so I was able to process through the grief. And the thing that helped me to process through the grief was really discovering who I am as a woman in the absence of the women that made me.
Man, dropping jewels again. I've been loving your answers for real. Like, I know a lot of people need to hear this. So you kind of mentioned this, through that answer a little bit, but can you talk about like breaking silence, like why many people feel shame about grieving, less than perfect parents, and how to release it?
So again, it is cultural to honor and respect your parents, right? Even the Bible says, honor your mother and your father, that thy days will be long on the earth. And so it's cultural to honor and respect parents. But when your parents did not parent you properly and they caused harm in ways that seemingly are irreparable, what do you do with that? So there's a level of guilt because your experience and your feelings are, again, countercultural. It is outside of people's norm. And when you are experiencing something that's outside of people's norms, your resources for support and aid are limited. Where am I supposed to go with these feelings? What am I supposed to do with this? So the shame is nobody will understand me. You feel like you're the only person experiencing this. When I was going through that grief process, because I knew that my brothers had a different experience with my mother, and a lot of times people are not ready to have honest conversations. They're not ready to have real conversations. So you're stuck with holding this bag of emotions that is tearing you up on the inside. So the way that you get free, number one, is you just have to be bold enough to have the conversation. So that's number one. Part of me writing the book was me being bold enough to have the conversation. And because this is who I am, this is not the first time that I've had a bold conversation. My first book is called From Horrible to Whole, WHORE-RIBLE to Whole, right? So it talks about my experience being molested as a child. And again, that's another topic of conversation that people don't want to talk about. Not only what happened, how it happened, when it happened, but what are the resulting effects of what happened, right? So I am the person in the family that's going to talk about it. Yeah. If it's the elephant in the room, I'm going to acknowledge the elephant. We're going to have the conversation. We're going to move this elephant, right? Because we need to talk about it. Because when you talk about things, it helps to air things out. People are clear about what others are feeling, what others are experiencing, and then it helps you learn how to navigate beyond that point. Right? I'm not walking on no eggshells around people. And listen, I'm not walking on eggshells on my own feelings to make you feel better because you ain't ready to deal with what I'm dealing with.
I love it. Hey, look,
we're going to have the conversation. So that's how you get free.
Look, I got I go to a therapist and everything, I had started going because Charlamagne, he was like, it's always healthy to talk to. So I've been loving my therapist, and she always tell me, she was like, it's not making excuses for why you do things, but it's helping you understand why, you are the way you are. So I feel that what you were saying for real.
Yes. And I did. I went to therapy, grief. And here's the thing. Not all therapists are equipped with the knowledge to handle grief.
Yeah.
So when you experience something like this, you need to go to a grief counselor. I had one therapist who was not really versed in grief. They have to go through and take a class or two, but it's not really a specialty when it comes to that. So I had to find one. The first one did not understand she was appalled that I was saying some of the things I was saying. She couldn't hide it. She was like, oh. And that right there, okay. Conversation over because you're not ready. You ain't really ready to have this conversation, right?
Like, I gotta go somewhere else.
Yes, I immediately she said, "Oh," and I said, "Oh, okay." So that let me know.
Let me know that I need to go.
It let me know that I needed to find somebody who could handle grief, but not just regular grief, unconventional grief, right, from an abusive parent. So when I was able to find a therapist through, at the time, my job, it was a relief for me to talk to somebody, to say the crazy things that I was thinking, right? The abnormal thoughts, and for them to be able to not only hold it and handle it, but to create a space for me to not feel guilty about feeling guilty about the fact that I had those feelings, right? Talking about it helped me. Also, I didn't realize how crazy my thoughts were until I said it out of my mouth. And I said, oh.
It's like, oh.
Sis, you need some help. So therapy was absolutely pivotal for me in processing that grief.
Okay. So let me ask you this. You've been doing a lot of things. Can you talk about some steps you use for navigating a complicated loss and coming out stronger?
Yes. So in discovering my identity, right, I had to give myself space to really question everything that I had ever learned, right, from this person, from my mother, question the person I had become through the different things that I had to do to survive, right? And so I really had to, and my therapist helped me to walk through this, but I had to ask myself if what I am doing today is because of what she put me through yesterday. So me being in the federal government, and I was able to attain a pay grade higher than my mother. Why did I join the federal government? Why? I just wanted to outdo her. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be like you. You were this, and this. You lost this, and this. You were this kind of mother. I'm not going to do that. So I discovered that everything that I've done in my life was a result of her inability to love me well and me wanting to outdo her. I'm going to show you. That was the energy behind what I was doing. So everything she did, I did it on a greater scale. Now, does it mean that I could not have just joined the federal government or been in beauty? Because my mom was also a hairdresser. She made her own hair care and skincare products. I do all of that, but on a grander level. Your little stuff was in these little raggedy packages. I'm gonna make sure mine is beautiful, right? You didn't make it through college. I'm working on my doctoral degree. You didn't, and then the other part of it was my mother didn't really celebrate me. I'm a multi-talented woman, right? And so I always tried to overachieve to try to win her approval. And it was, my mother would never say anything to me, but she would brag to her friends about me. Oh, my daughter does this. My daughter does this. So, okay. Wow. Okay. This is where mom accepts me. Let me do more things. Let me accomplish more things. So my therapist helped me to realize that the reason why I am where I am today is not because I did this on my own because I wanted to. I did it as a means of getting back at my mother.
Gotcha.
So I really had to sit with that. So it gave me an opportunity to question why I am the way that I am, so that in understanding the answer to that, now I can approach life from a different perspective. I do these things because I really do love them, but it's from a healthy point, right? Not from a, I'm going to show you, but it's from a, this is what I am capable of doing. This is what I am gifted at doing, and I am fulfilled in doing this because it impacts other people, not because it shows you up. Right? So I had to do that. And then the other thing is I had to just start learning new things. What, soft life was foreign to me before this. Now I prioritize my health. I prioritize my well-being. If it is going to bring me stress, I don't feel guilty about saying no.
Yes.
Listen, but I had to get to that point. I'm a very strong woman. I can carry a lot, right? Because I've been through a lot. So my capacity to carry the load is pretty large.
Yes.
But just because I can carry it doesn't mean I have to.
Facts.
And I had to give myself permission to put some stuff down, to stop carrying things that were not mine to carry. And so in doing those things of creating this life of ease for myself, not waiting on somebody else to do it for me, not blaming my mother for not being able to do it, but learning how to do it. Those were the things that really helped me to process through that and to really break free from the grips of grief. Because if you don't, it will take you out of here.
Man, listen, you sound like you in my brain. Everything you were saying, I was like, yes, that's what I do. Normalize, saying no, protect your peace, all that type of stuff. So I love it. So let me just say this right quick, y'all. Unconventional grieving the loss of a less than perfect parent. Where can the people get this book at? Where can they purchase this at?
So, of course, I have it here. So this is the cover of the book. The book is available on Amazon. I have an exclusive deal with Amazon. So the book is available on Amazon. If you Google Amazon, my name, if you search it, it will, all of my books will pop up, but this particular book will be on the top of that list. And it's available now in both the Kindle version as well as paperback.
Okay. So let me ask you this. On your journey, you've been doing a lot. What would you say on your journey, what has been your greatest challenge?
I think my greatest challenge has been balancing motherhood with career goals and desires. I think that's been my greatest challenge. When I think about going through a divorce and still having to work and still having to parent a child and coming to grips with the things that happened in my childhood, all of this happened in 1 year's time, right? And so, oh my God, what am I supposed to do with all of this? And really, that was when the journey started for me, probably about 9 years ago now, back in 2016. when the journey started for me to really like understand the reason why you show up the way you show up, Kelly, is because of the things that happened to you in your childhood. The reason why you're so angry at the world is because of the things that happened to you in your childhood. And you couldn't keep a marriage. And you have this son that you have to raise. And all of these things kind of happen. So my biggest challenge was learning how to balance all of that. Gotcha. The thing about balance, though, because a lot of people, oh, you can achieve balance. When you listen to the word balance, balance means equal weight on both sides. Facts. No, that is not possible in human life. Everything is not going to be of equal weight, right? Where you'll be able to give 25% of your time to this and 25% of your time to this. No. And so I had to really learn the skill of prioritization. Yes. And this is one of the things that I teach my clients. Everything that's important is not a priority. And so you have to go from, because people always say, oh, people make time for what's important to them. No, I love my family. But right now I'm in school for my doctoral degree. That is the priority. Yes. I have research, I have writing, I have studying, I have reading that I have to do that encompasses a great number of hours every week. Yes, you are important. The family events are important. But it's not a priority right now because school is temporary. I have another 2 years left in school, and then that priority will be accomplished and it will free up space for me to be able to do other things. And so learning how to prioritize, it's not about balance. Balance looks different for every person. And if something looks different for every person, then it's not a principle and it's not a standard. So I had to learn how to prioritize, and prioritizing really saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, and it helped me to accept that there are some important things that just are not prioritized to get my attention right now.
Kelli. Oh my God. People need to hear, look at that. You need to write a book about that. They say they make time for what you want. Hey man, I love that. Look, oh man, look. You just stopped me in my tracks with that one right there. Like that's like one of the realest answers for real. It ain't about this, balancing, like you said, giving each percentage. It's prioritizing. So I love that. That was great. So look, let me ask you this: on the flip side of that, what would you say has been your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment is my son. My one and only, my only begotten son.
Let's talk about
right now, he is completing his senior year at the Louisiana State University.
Salute to him.
Yes. And I could not be more proud of the intelligent, well-established, easily adjusted human being that he is. This man is so mature. He is so decisive. He's a leader. He's a masculine man.
Keep it going.
Yes, but he's caring and he's loving all at the same time. And so I love his father. His father and I, we co-parented very, very well. Even through our divorce, we were able to put our own feelings and emotions to the side to prioritize the health and well-being of our son. So we co-parent well, right? When he went to college, we both went down to Louisiana and we made sure that we moved him in. We did what was necessary working together. But I have raised an amazing human being. By the time he was 7 years old, he was waking himself up for school. He was doing his own laundry. He was cleaning his room, all the things. And that's probably the military in me. But, fast forward to when he got his first job, he applied on his own. He got himself up every day. He got up early to make his own lunch. I didn't have to do any of that stuff for him. So he is my greatest accomplishment. I feel better knowing that when I leave this world, he's in it. Because he is definitely going to have an impact on the world. He is going to be a world changer, a history maker. He is an outlier of his generation. He's a hip hop head. He loves old school 80s, 90s hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? He's just a different breed of a man at 21 years old, and I'm so proud of him. So that's my greatest accomplishment.
Man, that's great. Salute to him, man. For real. I love it. It's always good to see how, entrepreneur black people up this. So let me ask you this. What advice, because I know you said you've been doing it, and I know a lot of young girls go through this, or just period youth period. What advice would you give to someone who's been like sexually abused and afraid to speak out or anything?
So, for someone who is a young person who has experienced any form of sexual assault or sexual abuse in childhood, the first thing you need to know is it was not your fault. There was nothing that you did to draw it in or to deserve it. So, that's first and foremost. And the second thing is you're not dirty and you're not damaged. You're not. That person was sick, not you. So that's first. The second thing I would say is find a safe space to talk. Somebody that you can let your feelings out, because if you don't let it out, what you don't deal with will deal with you, even in your younger years. I didn't have a place to go where I felt safe. And so what's in you must come out of you. And I ended up acting out. I was angry at the world. I would, you could look at me sideways and I was going to punch you in your face, like all the things. It was, listen, don't let this polished, great vocabulary fool you. I could get down with the get down. Okay. So you want to make sure that you let it out so that you don't bottle that stuff up inside. Find a safe place to go talk. If you are experiencing it right now, you need to say something to somebody. Somebody needs to go to jail for what it is that they are doing to you. If you can't talk to a parent or a family member, find a school counselor or somebody. Now, I know the fear of disrupting the family. I get it. But I would rather make them uncomfortable and disrupted than causing my entire life to be disrupted. It took me until age 36 years old to come to terms with and to have to deal with the wreckage of my past because I didn't have a safe space to talk about it. So find a safe space to talk about it. And then lastly, this is hard, but it is the most imperative thing that you can do. And that is forgive the people that did it to you. And I know that what they did was heinous. It was deplorable. But at the end of the day, if you don't forgive them, it is going to be like an anvil around your neck until you do. So that would be the advice I would give them.
Greatness. There need to be another book right there. Look, you got all the books in you, Kelly. All right. So do you have anything else coming up that you want to promote, Miss Kelli Ware?
So right now I am actually, and this is in the book, I had to learn how to honor my mother in a way that would be true to who I am, but also still allow her legacy to live. One of the things that I really discovered in her passing was I needed to honor her so that it would help me to process through the rest, like that end part of the grief. My father would always say to me, again, honor your mother, Kelly, honor your, I know she's not the perfect person, but you still got to honor her. The thing about honoring your parent is that honor doesn't have an expiration date. Right. And so I decided to start a company, a cosmetic company called Mew Beauty. My mother's name is Marion Elizabeth Ware. So Mew is MEW, her initials Beauty. And actually this weekend, I'm doing a photo shoot for the first product in the line, which is a body butter that I created using one of her old recipes. So be on the lookout for Mew Beauty. That is coming up. The other thing is I am available for speaking engagements concerning leadership, transformational leadership. I have a model called Leading with Love. And love stands for learn, opportunities, validate, and empower. And I teach CEOs and C-suite executives how to lead their organizations with love to empower authenticity from their employees to leverage the power of their creativity to develop innovation and create more profitable outcomes.
So. Let me tell you. So look, I write and direct movies also, right? So when I get my team, I had met this one director, and he like be mean as people. I was like, no, man. I said, he talks, you need to be meaner. I was like, no, what I lead with love and nice kindness, it brings the authenticity out of people and make
It
them want to
does.
do their job and make them curveball. I like when you doing that, you like putting them in fear, making them angry. They don't want to work for you. So
Right.
I love that you just said that. So
Yes. I
I'm on the
think
right path.
authenticity is everybody's inherent superpower. And
Yes.
when you can really lean into that, it helps the outcomes of everything that you are connected to, your job, right? Your
Yes.
family, all the things. And so when you create an environment that is fueled by love, when
Yes.
you feel loved, you feel free to be your most authentic self, right? Now,
Yes.
obviously, you can't be emotional in the workplace. So I'm
Okay.
teaching them how to lead with love in a way that is absolutely professional, but produces
Yes.
optimal
Yes.
results. So,
I love it. See that let me know I'm on the right path. You know. So
yes, you are.
let the people know where can they find you if they want to get in contact with you or book you or everything.
Okay, awesome. So I'm on social media, all things at I am Kelli Ware. It's my name right on the screen, Kelly with an I. And then my website is iamkelliware.com. So pretty simple, pretty easy. If you type in I am Kelli Ware in Google, all the things you need to find me will pop up.
All right, yeah. Let's get our book, Unconventional Grief, Grieving the Loss of a Less Than Perfect Parent, man. Make sure y'all get that promoted. She been dropping a lot of jewels. I want to read it too, because you just been dropping so many jewels for the people today. They need to hear this for real. So, Miss Kelly, my last question that I love to ask all of my guests. When it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Kelli Ware?
I want the people to know that Kelli Ware was one of the most authentic human beings that ever lived on this earth. I live and breathe authenticity. I want people to know that I was a woman not afraid to have the tough conversations. I want to be remembered as the catalyst for courageous conversations. I want to be remembered as a woman who loved her son unconditionally and tremendously, right? I have such a big amount of love for him. And I want to be remembered as a woman of wisdom because I am absolutely that. And so, wisdom, authenticity, and love, those are the three words that I would use to describe me and what I would want people to remember me for.
Drop the mic. Bam. There you go. Well, Miss Kelly, I loved it. Look, I'm gonna follow you on Instagram. Be looking up my name, G Soldier, on there. So be
Okay.
looking out for my follow. And I appreciate this interview. You one of the realest people I've ever interviewed. I love, and you got a lot of just great tools for people to learn. Just not speaking it, you just not talking about. You really actually got tools for them to learn and help them understand why things are the way they are. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you and thank you for having me on today.
No problem. And I definitely will let you know as soon as I write this article and drop this interview with the article. So you
Okay.
have a good rest of your great day, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.